Okay, we are going to do this wildlife park quadratic modeling problem in a second, but first let's see if I can go back to the calculator part of this rational function, okay, because I think a lot of you guys are curious about that. So I've typed in the rational function here, and when you do that, just sort of hope that it's going to work out on Zoom 6. That's your standard plus or minus 10 window. And that's pretty good information right there. There's not a lot of crazy heartbeat stuff like sometimes happens. If I zoom out a little bit, I think some of you guys are not totally clear on how you zoom out. I press number 3, but that doesn't do the zooming out. It's only after I press enter again that I zoom out. And I don't like the way the axes get thick. That's because all those little ticky marks have condensed together. But you can see clearly kind of what's going on there. All right. So if I go back to Zoom 6, and you can sketch that on the paper. I can't show that right now. But what I'm interested in is answering the question about the domain. The domain is clearly everything except my plus and minus 5. And then also the range. Now the range will be all real numbers except for this gap right here. And we know that the gap goes up to 5, but does not include 5. It can never get down to 5. It just gets closer and closer and closer. But what's the maximum point here? I misspoke when I did it on paper. I spoke correctly, but I plotted it in the negative. But let's see what it is. I'm going to try to find the maximum value, okay? And then to find the maximum of this bump, which will tell us where our range is, I'm going to hit enter, and you'll see there's the pincher thing, and I have to go over to the right-hand side of it. Some of you guys are still a little bit rusty on why you have to hit enter like 3 times, but you got to bracket it, as it's called. Now that I have bracketed it, it always says guess. I think it makes you it wants you to think about it, and here it is. It's 0.08, which, if you think about that, that is our 4/50ths, positive 4/50ths. Notice that's positive. I made the dot in the negative. But so that's the highest value it can be right there. So it's complicated. This would be an advanced question. Some of you guys, I think, would assume that it's 0. But the range then for this problem is all values will be greater than but not equal to 5, or less than and equal to positive 0.08, or what is that, 4/50ths or 2/25ths. Okay, so notice that's why it's that on the printout version of the answer key for this. All right, on to rabbits. So I'm going to go down here and delete this, and that's gone, and then I'm going to go up and plot the data first. So I turn on plot 1. I've already typed in the data. Then I do zoom 9. Alright, now if yours doesn't look like this, it's because I might have fooled you about what goes along the x-axis. In most graphs that you'll ever do in science, time is across the x-axis. We have control over what year we choose to count rabbits. We do not necessarily have control over the population. So this will go this way, and then when I do quad reg, alright, I'm just going to do second, and whoops, no, I don't have to do second. I hit stat, and I go over to calc, and I do quad reg, hit number 5, and then if you've got the kind of fancy calculator that this one is, you can go down and you can patch it into your equation editor right away by hitting the vars key, and then going over to the variables options and choosing function. I'm going to put it in as a function, and I'll put it in as y1, and I'll hit enter, and then I just hit enter to go calculate. I say, yeah, what is that? Alright, and there is my quadratic regression. Now there are 3 perfectly decent ways to do that, alright? And I'll go out to the edit for the actual data. Here I've actually just typed in the year, and you can do that as long as you do what I just did on the calculator. I think a lot of scientists would just plug in 12, 13, 14, and 25 for the year, and some others might just call 12 year 0, and then 13 would be year 1, and then you got to work out what the heck year 25 is, and I find that more confusing. So I'm not even going to go there, but that would be a legitimate way to do it. I would recommend that you guys just go 12, 13, 14, 25, or as I have done it. I'm guessing a lot of you guys will do it this way, so that's what I'm choosing to show. Once you get the graph, you'll have the data points, and you'll have your quadratic regression, which is pretty darn sweet. Goes right through that, and we want to know when do our wascally wabbits get to the top of their population. So I have to go to the window, and I'm going to make not the x's change, that's my year. I'm going to make the maximum population change. I'm going to make that up to about 4,000. Why not have it a nice round number? I'm definitely going to change my scale to show every 1,000 as a ticky mark. And I'm going to look at that graph and hope that the peak of that parabola shows up. Oops, did I do something wrong? I must have hit something wrong, so you probably saw it and were laughing. Don't know what I did. Okay, well, I'm just going to do zoom 9 again and then pay careful attention. This will happen to you, this sort of thing. And then see, what did I do to the window? Hit the window. And, all right, I just want to go down to this. That's 3.49. All right, that's because it's not, yeah, it's in thousands. I want to go to 4.0. Silly Mr. Olson. All right, that's going to fix it. So did you spot my mistake? Hopefully you did. And look at that, it just shows the top. Okay, now I want to do just as I did before. Second, not second, I hit stat and I go to calc. And then I do, nope, this is the one. I am confused. Second calc gives me that maximum option number 4. And I just want to be on the left boundary again. I'm definitely on the left. The numbers are obscuring it at the top, but I can still see through the numbers. I want to be definitely on the right-hand side of that bump. I am right there. And then I hit enter, and this should tell me that the maximum population of rabbits is going to be 3.834 thousand, 3,834. Okay? So that has answered the question. How you explain this to the park board will be how you do it on the test. I'll sketch out my own that you should have on the printout version. But that's how you do it on the calculator. Good luck to everybody. Bye-bye.